Hello, Sumo fans. Are we here? Yes, okay. Sometimes my connection says it's not good, but apparently it is. So, once again, I'm a few minutes early. I can never tell when that's going to happen, so I will just sort of talk about some lower ranker stuff until people show up, and then we'll get into the fun part. So, Tsurugisho finally loses. He could not handle the go around the dohyo situation that was going on, and he was just absolutely gassed by the end of that. Look at that. Monster immediately. Kaio beats Tsurugisho for an awesome bout. I was just talking about it, Monster, actually. It is like you read my mind. Hello, GR Sumo. Good to see you. Yes, Kaio really ran Tsurugisho around. The man doesn't have the endurance needed to keep up with him. But hey, I mean, he really gave it his all. So, kudos to Tsurugisho. He's still 10-2. Still going to come up to the top division. Hello, Army. Good to see you. I'm glad that you are here. It's been a delight to catch the Tsurugisho matches. They're the only ones I've really caught. So, it'll be good to see him back, but I don't know how this man keeps going. I really don't. Another little note is Toki Hiyate pulled a nice little throw today. I haven't seen him throw ever. Now, I don't watch him as stringently as some do, but it was nice. It was a nice little moment. You know, he hasn't lost it yet. He still can get Kachikoshi. It's a uphill climb, but you know, he's in it. He's in it all the way. And Shishi was looking more upright than yesterday, if that's even possible. So he looked even worse today than he did yesterday, and Tamawashi probably enjoyed that. He seems to thrive on punishing people. It's the sort of monstrous side of Tamawashi. And Roga proves his endurance against Onokatsu. That was like the longest match ever. A shame for Onokatsu, really. He's out of the race at this point. My big note is it's hard on day 12. Things go wrong. Army says, can't wait for Hoshoryu versus Onosato. I can't wait and I can wait at the same time. When I get to that part of the talk, you'll see why I feel that way. I'm most looking forward to Tamawashi versus Asakura. That actually will be a good match, I think. I'm kind of looking forward to that one too. And Elise says, Hoshoryu, let's go. Monster says, I think day 13 is kind of a lame duck outside the marquee matches. Setting up for the last couple days, not much to be excited about. Yes, but you know, weird things happen on day 13. I'll just say that. So, you might get some amazing match that you just really weren't prepared for. Koto isn't fighting off the back foot that much this basho. No, he's not. 100% agree with that. He just looks like a different man. And he was fighting great before this tournament, so it's not like he was, you know, some slouch, but man, he's really, I don't know if he had a conversation with somebody, if he's been watching tape and he just was like, this is the thing I'm going to fix, but I mean, he's still maintaining his defensive style, but he's not caught back on his heels this time. It's like defense, 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 offense, which is what everybody wanted to see him do. But we'll get there. We'll get there. I don't have as many matches to talk about tonight. Some of you have been making comments in the community tab that how, you know, today was sort of anticlimactic, not as exciting compared to the day before. I mean, that was something else. So, you know, there's not as many highlight matches that I want to talk about, but we have some. How about Kirishima? He did it. That's what I was telling you guys last night. I'm like, I don't care if Takanosho has a better record. I just have a feeling Kirishima really comes out for the important matches. GR Sumo, Hoshoryu is going to beat Onosato. Hoshoryu is going to take advantage of Onosato getting in his head this basho. All right. I'm going to get through all my notes before we talk about some of these big important ones that matter. Okay. So we had Gonoyama versus Takada Fuji. Gonoyama's been really patient and strong. Looking just so good. Just keeping the forward momentum. But he almost slipped a couple times in this match. He's really darn lucky that Takada Fuji's kind of burning out at this point. You can tell his stamina is depleted because he could have lost that match to somebody else. So I'm very impressed with the 9-3. That's great for him, but he's still got a lot of work to do. But he can really take this tournament as a momentum grabber for the new year. Shonana Umi moving forward against Endo. He finally uses his power. It's like, dude, this is what we've been waiting for. You are such a big guy. Like, use it. And he did, and Endo got destroyed out there. He took a hard hit. He was taking a seat with the ladies and everything. So let's see what Shonana Umi does going forward. You know, if this is this new style or if he just kind of ticked off and decided he wanted to attack Endo today. And I would say everyone has been so kind to poor Mitake Yumi, just sort of gently escorting him out. Very good sportsman activity of theirs. And then we had Abi versus Wakataka Kage. And I really thought this was going to be a much more intense match. And it's like, just like that, Abi comes back like yesterday never happened, blows out Wakataka Kage, who he should have a harder time with, and he's going to be kicking himself at the end of this tournament for yesterday's loss, or for 2 days ago's loss, because I think he's effectively out now. Maybe not. Anything can happen. Like, tonight is going to make a lot of determinations, but he really had a great shot at this Yusho race, and he really blew it 2 days ago. So, sorry to you, Abi. Wakataka Kage slowing down. At least he's got his Kachikoshi. Maybe he'll put a couple more wins together by the end and then have a great tournament. Or he could wind up 8-7. We will see. We have 3 days to go. Ura versus Oshoma. Another match that just made me laugh. So Oshoma, he's got this, you know, he's just so experienced out there, isn't he? He thinks, oh, Ura's going to go low, so I'm just going to put my hand on his head like a bully and push him down, and I'm going to win the fight against Ura that way. I figured out the great Ura because I'm just so smart and good, Oshoma. And then Ura takes like a pinky and gets it on the belt and throws the guy to the ground. He deserved that. I found that just amazing. Hey, Daniel, it has been a very long time since I've seen you, and it is a great basho. So yeah, Oshoma, you learned a lesson. Okay? Don't mess around with the guys who are way more skilled than you. Anyway. And then, oh man, that Hida Umi Atami Fuji match. Whoa. I felt so bad for poor Hida Umi. I mean, that is his tournament. He fought so hard and he just kept going and going and going, and he loses that match anyway. It's like, he just needs a hug when this is over and to just totally forget this tournament ever happened. And then we had the first big match, and I got pretty nervous. Takanosho versus Kirishima. Takanosho wanted this really, really bad. I mean, that was a vicious slap battle. That was the most vicious I've seen Takanosho. He usually comes in looking just very jolly and, you know, focused. But, I mean, he was full of vigor. But he got knocked off balance by Kirishima. I'm pretty sure that Kirishima had this in mind. He's got a lot of luck. He's very good at defeating the pusher thrusters. I mean, you saw what he did to Daisho back-to-back to take that Yusho from him. So, unfortunately, Takanosho now falls to 10-2. He's not out of it, obviously. There's still 3 days to go, but that was a big momentum killer. So, I'm thinking there's a chance he's out of it. We'll see. And then we had Hoshoryu versus Shodai. Okay. I'm thinking to myself, if you lose to Shodai, like, I'm just not going to watch Sumo anymore. Because that would be the most ridiculous, stupid thing to happen. And it's funny because Shodai did try something at the edge, but Hoshoryu just sort of twisted him and aggressively threw him right out of the ring. Hoshoryu is not playing around. He's not going to lose some silly match that he shouldn't lose. And once again, keeps pace with Koto Sakura. So Koto Sakura fought Daisho today. I thought of all the fighters Daisho would possibly be able to upset. And he did fight pretty hard, but Koto Sakura is not going to go down this Basho. He very dominantly used his size. And he just sort of smothered the Daisho offense. So, yeah, it looks like the two top guys are just keeping pace. They want to face each other. They want it to come down to Ozeki versus Ozeki. And so far, they're making that happen. And then we had the Ono Sato versus Takeru Fuji match. Now, this was a match that a lot of people were looking forward to prior to this tournament. Maybe not so much now because neither man is really in the Yusho race. And it was very short. There was a lot of disappointment. But I have to say, I found a lot of enjoyment out of it because both Ono Sato and Takeru Fuji have their plan. And both of them executed their plan on each other. And when perfectly executed, it looked like Ono Sato, his ability wins out. He was more prepared for Takeru Fuji. And I had said this going into the tournament. The reason Takeru Fuji won so dominantly in that first tournament is that he was facing each guy for the first time. And they weren't prepared for just how powerful that Tachiai is and just were unsure of him. And now they know. They felt it. They know it's coming. They know what to do. And in this case, Ono Sato just sort of absorbed the hit, but he still got rocked off balance. I mean, he was kind of lucky that Takeru Fuji didn't push him any further into the center of the ring because then we might have seen something else happen. But Ono Sato absorbed it just enough and just took the rest of his momentum and blasted him out and almost fell himself. So I think there's going to be an exciting future for these two. Maybe this tournament isn't the one to showcase how exciting it's going to be, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm looking forward to them battling for many, many years to come. So I see that you guys are just throwing so many comments in there. So I'm going to hurry up with these matchups so that I can catch up with the comments. And let's see. So the notable matches for tonight, tomorrow, however you want to look at it. It's tomorrow for me. It's tonight for others. We have Koto Sakura versus Takanosho. This is going to be a huge match. Takanosho has an opportunity to right today's mishap. However, like I said, Koto Sakura does not look like he's going to give up anything. So Takanosho has really got to prove something today. If he really wants this and he's really as skilled as he needs to be, this is the match to take. Right here, right now. I don't see him doing it as much as I really, really, really want to see Takanosho do it. I don't see it happening. Then we have Hoshoryu versus Ono Sato. And as I had said to Army earlier, I'm a little nervous about this match. And I hate to say that, but Hoshoryu of the past has made mistakes by now. And this Hoshoryu has been flawless. Ono Sato is just the kind of guy to create a couple of different problems for Hoshoryu. Either one, he starts to get a little bit nervous or a little bit messed up in the head and makes a mistake, or he goes for the throw with Ono Sato and gets hurt. Both of these scenarios I worry about. However, I also know that Hoshoryu is a very smart fighter and a very capable fighter, and if he just stays where he's at now, he should have no problem beating Ono Sato. It's just there's so much uncertainty for me because of the things that have happened in the past. So I'll be holding my breath when that match starts and just hoping that it's over quickly and the right outcome happens and Hoshoryu just moves on and we all move forward. And then we're going to have Gonoyama versus Kirishima. Also going to be a fascinating match. Kirishima does very well with these pusher thrusters, like I said. He knows how to sort of take their hits and then throw them off balance and then they're done. There's just nothing they can do at that point if they've exerted all of their force in one direction. But Gonoyama looks pretty good. So if he wins this match, it's going to be a good sign for him. It's going to be something he can really take into the future, which would be awesome. And then Onokatsu will be fighting Wakataka Kage. Both of these men are out of the Yusho race, but it still might be a great match. So look forward to that. And now I have to read all these comments. You guys have gone crazy. Let me catch up. All right, where was I last? Okay. Oh boy, we're way back. Okay. Hoshoryu's Yorikiri is looking strong. Absolutely. Hoshoryu also seems like he gained a stronger, faster Tachi-ai. Everything comes down to the Tachi-ai. At the end of the day, I mean, you can overcome a bad Tachi-ai, but it's better to have the best of the Tachi-ai. Hello, Mitch. Glad that you're here. Endo and Shonan Naomi are both plotting something. They're well matched together. Yeah, that's true. That's a chess match right there. Hello, Daniel. Yes, it has been a very good basho. I will say I'm nervous for Hoshoryu, but he's beaten Onosato before. I'm hoping both top Ozeki win so we get a showdown between Hoshoryu and Koto. I feel like everybody wants that, and I feel like they got to be real excited in Japan right now because this is what they want. They want the top guys fighting it out last day. Stronger man wins. So hopefully nothing gets in the way of this inevitable clash of destiny. Abi is a good pusher, but he could be so much better if he lowers his hips and does shuriashi instead of just running. Yeah, he basically gets way up on his toes to sort of get the momentum, and that throws him off bad. Habab Gob says he's late. No problem. We're going to be here for a little while. Daniel says, I really dislike Oshoma on and off the dohyo. So yeah, I know he had all those scandals, but I kind of heard about them late, so I didn't want to form an opinion. But the way he fought today kind of irked me. It really irked me. I'm not going to lie. I'm like, okay, newbie, you think you figured out Ura and you're just going to basically pull a move that's like a Hakuho move or something? I'm so glad Ura embarrassed him. I'd like to see a little bit more of embarrassment for Oshoma now. I don't know why I feel this way, but it's like, knock it off, kid. Knock it off. Hiraomi has the Aqua luck, no luck. Yeah. He's just going to have to go back to the drawing board. I mean, he's such a tough, gritty fighter, but he's just not as strong as he needs to be to kind of compete with these top guys, I think. I need justice for Daisho. He fought all three Ozeki and Kirishima and has only fought 2 Sanyaku. Same record, but Daisho has a way tougher competition. Some tournaments, that's the way it goes, unfortunately. He might get his justice. He might. I don't know. Maybe his justice comes in January. That's his better tournament. What's even worse is Hiraomi is falling this hard in front of his home crowd. Maybe that's why it's happening. You know, maybe he feels a little extra pressure or something and it just got in his head. Yeah, Kirishima was getting a bit of a nicer schedule because he was doing so bad. You know, the schedule breaks in both ways. I think everybody at some point gets an easier schedule and a harder schedule. I don't think it ever just lands in one guy's favor. Roga had a huge win against Onokatsu. He has his number 3-0. He really proved his stamina today. I was quite impressed. I mean, that was a long match. And he still, when he won at the end, he still looked like he could keep going another 2 minutes. So, kudos to Roga on that. I promise I'll only make this joke once. Hiraomi must be constipated. Only reason to be 1-11. Same applies to Chiyomaru. Well, I expect no less from you, Mitch. Habab Gob, I agree they've taken it easy on Kitty with the matchups. Hello, Mega Monster. But that's sumo for you. If you have a garbage score, you get easier matchups usually. Agreed. It all evens itself out. It's just the way it is. I'm hoping we can get a 14-1 this time around, even if that has been rare. I would love to see a 14-1 as well. I could have had a 15-1 if that weird Abi match didn't happen. But we'll see. I say that, and then, Hoshoryu kind of has to keep winning. It's not fair, but it's what you signed up for. I agree. Daisho had a terrible Tachiai yesterday against Koto Zakura. Well, the thing about Koto Zakura is it's like hitting a wall. It's like fighting Ichinojo. You kind of have to adjust your Tachiai. You have to get low enough to push this guy back. Takakisha was very good at this, by the way. You have to get low enough to push this guy out. And if you don't, then your Tachiai is going to be terrible. Really hoping Tamashoho can go 2-1 the last 3 days. Need him in Makauchi ASAP. It would be nice to see someone not named Terunofuji proving they can have that Yokozuna dominance. I've always said that I thought, before Onosato just kind of showed up, which he came out of nowhere, I thought Koto Zakura was the guy destined for Yokozuna first. As much as I want it to be Hoshoryu, of course. He has the size, he has the ability, he has the pedigree. Use it, dude. Monster says, I know, Mitch. Yeah, we Tamashoho, if he makes Makauchi, then half of his stable will be in Makauchi. Katanomi's stable has Tamawashi, Tamashoho, and 2 Jonidan guys. I think for me, it's just kind of cool that Tamashoho is Tamawashi's son-in-law. Brother-in-law? It's not son-in-law. Brother-in-law, excuse me. So it's kind of cool to see family come up. IQ says the live streams continue in force. Yes. How exciting is that? 3 this time. Well, it's because you guys are all showing up and we're having a good time, so I like doing it. Why Tamashoho? He's like a less skilled Chiyoshoma. It's complex. I know for me it's that everybody loves Tamashoho, and I don't watch Juryo, so I want him to come up so that I can talk about him. And like I said, I like that he's Tamawashi's brother-in-law. I mean, the dude just never has a boring match. Hell, even his Fusen win was exciting. Hello, David. I don't know if I've seen you in the chat before, so welcome. Hiraomi has had a really unlucky basho. He's fighting hard but not getting any breaks. Reminds me of Yu Takayama's 2-13 in May 2018, the best of 2-13 I've ever seen. Yeah, that's a good comparison. I think Hiraomi does kind of remind me of Yu Takayama. The difference, of course, being that Yu Takayama was very, very hurt for so long, whereas Hiraomi, I just think he's undersized. I mean, he's a huge dude, but the guys he's got to fight now they're just bigger. He's got to go through Koto Zakura and Onosato. Hoshoryu's a beast. He has a quiet strength. You should get us to join in on this conversation. It could be so much fun. We are. I am bringing you into this conversation. It's just I'm super behind in the comments. So feel free to chat with others in the chat until I catch up. Jason Sumo will be there for some live exciting matchups on day 14. That's cool. That's super cool. Tamashoho definitely has a lot of charisma. I gotta see this. I don't know him. I don't see him as Chiyoshoma clone. I see him more in the vein of Ichi Yamamoto Abi with a very slight Yotsu skill. Okay, that could be interesting. If Hoshoryu beats Onosato, he will win the Yusho. I think there's a very good chance if he beats Onosato, he's going to throw everything at Koto Zakura, and we know he can beat Koto Zakura. The thing is, Koto Zakura, he is more powerful than Hoshoryu. So, if the two of them are completely perfect, we're going to actually see who is the more talented. If no one makes a mistake, will Hoshoryu's skill beat Koto Zakura's just massive frame and defensive ability? Takanosho sad, even worse than it was Kiribayama that beat him. Yeah, you're not a big fan of Kirishima. I was sad when Tamashoho... or when Takanosho lost. That was a shame. But, you know, I want Hoshuri to win this thing, so, like, I have to be happy. But at the same time, I'm like, oh, I really want to see Takanosho win. If both Hosh and Koto win tonight, they eliminate everyone else from the Yusho. You know, I was going to try to do the math, and I just didn't bother, so that's good to know. Very good to know. Kirishima is trying his damnedest to win out and save his Ozeki run. Well, I don't think he can save his Ozeki run. He can save being in Sanyaku, but I think he's going to have to do Ozeki all over again. By the way, Abi is Hoshoryu's cousin, senpai. Can you believe that? Abi is Hoshoryu's cousin, senpai. Can you believe that? No. Elaborate for me, please. I did not know this. Hoshoryu is way more experienced and way more skilled than Onosato. Onosato's lack of experience is starting to show. Now, with that said, I agree 100% and Hoshoryu should have this. But Hoshoryu, as we know, in the past, this new Hoshoryu is different. But in the past, Hoshoryu has lost matches he shouldn't lose. That's why it makes me nervous. Because Onosato is a much tougher competitor than some of the people he's lost to in the past. With that said, he should be able to take this match. There should be no reason. Just don't pull the Hanka Hoshoryu, win it or lose it straight up. We'll have to see. He can always pull that shift to the side, and I wouldn't be surprised if he did. We'll see. I hope Kirishima keeps it up. I really think he can still pull things together. I think he can salvage the tournament, but I don't think he can salvage his Ozeki run. I want Abi to lose solely so Wakataka Kage can take Shodai's Komusubi spot. Well, we'll have to see. They didn't give it to him this time. Mitch, Tamashoho's number one winning technique is Yurikiri, and second is Hataki Komi. So definitely more Chiyoshoma than push-pull of Abi and Ichi. Well, does he do Hankas? Because we know Chiyoshoma is the Hanka guy. Kimarite is the finishing move for a reason. Often a Kimarite does not show how much of a bout is Yotsu or Oshi. Plenty of guys force to the edge on the belt, then push out, and vice versa. Excellent point. Excellent point. GR Sumo says, everyone like and subscribe. You know, as I'm sitting here reading the comments, I saw a whole bunch of hearts and reactions and everything. So maybe it's because you said that. So thank you, GR Sumo. I'm going to do my little plug that I did last night. Hi guys, can everybody like and subscribe? Thank you. Hoshoryu actually lost weight before the Basho. Interesting. You see, I'm starting to think that the weight thing is a blessing and a curse because, you know, some of the 80s guys and 90s guys, they weren't this heavy. They were just jacked. So I feel like you should be able to do it, but no one's been that successful. You know, there's this sort of balance beam of having the right amount of weight so you don't get pushed out, but not being too heavy to where you get injury prone or other things that go wrong. Like Takekeisho, when he would get just a little too heavy, it would mess everything up. But if he lost a certain amount of weight, then he lost some of the power too. But Hoshoryu seems to have the right balance, so interesting. Oshoma has been what Sumo Mainichi refers to as a dog act. Okay, I need a little bit of an explanation of what a dog act exactly means. What's wrong with dogs? Yep, I need some explanation. I apologize for my Rizzler comment on your Takekeisho post, but the man is looking spectacular. There's nothing to apologize for. I mean, Takekeisho actually looks his age all of a sudden. He looks younger than he did when he was fighting. He looks happier. He is a handsome man. I mean, I'm not going to lie. That's part of why I liked him. What can I do? So yeah, he's looking great. You know, part of me, my heart aches because I miss seeing him fight. And just, I actually finally got to watch the commentary because Kwakuryu, who's awesome, sent me the link. And he's a little sad and he's having a little bit of a struggle not fighting anymore after fighting for so long. But, geez, it just seems like his life's got to be better now. And then Habab Gob says something about the Australians. I don't know what's going on with the dog stuff. We haven't had a 14-1 since Teru in May of last year. And we haven't had many. So even though that was the last one, I think we've had less than a handful. The Yokozuna difference. Well, Bob, when you win by Uwatanage more than Oshidashi, I don't think there's any more evidence a guy is a Yotsu wrestler. Over double the belt force outs from thrust outs. Technical conversation going on in the chat. Lower division Yushos tonight. Enho has a chance. Let's go. I heard he's probably going to fight while we're doing this live stream, so that'll be cool. Gotta say, I'm very happy that Onosato is out of the Yusho race. I can't stand the guy. There are many, many people who feel this way. I know there's a lot of Onosato fans, but I haven't actually run into them personally. I think maybe they're mostly Japanese. I'm not sure. I do not feel the same way that others feel about him. I like him. I don't necessarily like overly root for him because I'm a Hoshoryu gal, but you know, I want to see him develop. I think he's Yokozuna material. And once he develops, I think maybe people will like him more. He just needs a little bit of time. Honestly, Juryo looks more exciting than Makauchi today. Well, we know that happens at least once a tournament. Daniel, I agree. Uwatanage is especially indicative of a Hoshoryu style. Tamashoho seems 50-50 on whether he starts about with pushing or grappling. He usually finishes with grappling. Boy, you guys really know Tamashoho. He better get up here so I can talk about him. IQ, me 6 days ago. Kirishima will never be allowed to cook again. Me today. It's amazing. I said this last night and I said it a little bit earlier today. One day is such a big difference in sumo. You guess all these things and you think you know where it's going, and then everything falls apart, or somebody does something amazing and you're like, forget everything I said. And you go into the next night and you're like, okay, so we've got some stability. This is what's going to happen. And it's like, and I was wrong again. It's wild. I feel like he starts bouts Oshi and then transitions into either Yotsu or into Hataki Komi. Hataki Komi is usually the second big Kimarite of the Suki Oshi guys. Yeah, good point. Hoshoryu's cousin joined Shikoro Yamabeya recently, which is Abi's stable. Yes, I do follow Shikoro Yamabeya's stable. I did not realize Hoshoryu's cousin joined them. That's pretty awesome. Hey, JJ. Yo, yo, yo. Are we going to have a John appearance? John and JJ tonight for Sunday morning sumo show? I hope so. I think you guys are going to be awesome. Just stopped by to ask why the heck the Shimpan had Takeru Fuji at Maegashira 16 face Onosato today at Ozeki. It would be one thing if they were Yusho contenders, but they were at 8 and 7 wins respectively. Very interesting point, John. I'll say this. The only thing I can think of is they had, at least because of the records, because Takeru Fuji, technically speaking, still in a Yusho race at that point. Onosato and Ozeki. So they tend to give, regardless of the rank, if you're in the Yusho race, they tend to start giving you the higher rankers. Did they need to give him Onosato? No. I'm guessing there had to be some hype surrounding the match, and they were like, we have our excuse, we're going for it. And I think that's why it happened. I mean, they gave Ura to Teruno Fuji a couple times when it was like, that's a little crazy. But everybody wants to see Ura and Teruno Fuji go because it's the most entertaining match in the world. So I think that was kind of like a fan service thing. Like, the fans want it. We've got our excuse. We're going to make it happen. Monster says it's still funny. I just like the live stream because of your little plug. So I have to actually do the plug. It's so funny because I guess technically I'm a YouTuber, but I don't see myself as a YouTuber. But if you watch the YouTube videos, you know, reaction channels and all these other things, there's always a plug. Usually it's a little digital one where it's like a little red button in the side that says subscribe and thumbs, and they say the same things over and over again. And I've resisted for so long because I'm like, I'm not a YouTuber. But since everybody likes the plug, then fine. I will plug. Please like and subscribe. 42 Opinions is awesome. I'm Team Hoshoryu in the spa show. He is doing great. He is doing the best I've seen him do. He's so confident. Hoshoryu is my guy. Now that Takakeisho was out, Hoshoryu is the man I'm rooting for every single tournament. I'm sweating. I'm nervous. I really want this for him. So the next couple days are going to be agony for me until this tournament is over. Habab Gab with the interesting information about Abi and Hoshoryu. Thank you. I just need to have Hoshoryu win the Yusho so Abi can and should win a Shunkunsho. Yes, good point. Abi better win out the rest of this time because I told you he's probably feeling like, man, I could have been a contender. I must say the matchmaking has been weird this boss show. I agree. I don't even know if it really has been weird, but it has felt weird. The Hoshoryu Shodai match did not feel right to me. But maybe that's because Shodai has been hanging out in the middle and bottom lately, but I'm like, this is a weird match for day 12. Well, it's a fun matchup. They're college teammates and we're Yusho matchups in March. Cool. I do love the guys who come up together and they've been rivals since they were kids or at least college, and it just brings a whole other dynamic. Oh, and I get that. It just seems a little unfair to everyone else when they're at the literal top and bottom of the first division for now. You know, John, I agree with you. And at the same time, it's a little bit like what I was saying earlier. Sometimes it's just like that. Whether right or wrong, sometimes the schedule, because it's such a subjective thing. Same with the Banzuke. We all talk about the math, quote unquote, of the Banzuke, but it's a subjective decision in a lot of ways. So because sumo has so much of that personal touch, where the guys can just get together and make choices, and can make those choices based on, oh, these factors look good. You're going to get these matches sometimes in some tournaments. Hoshoryu reminds me of the Wolf, Chiyono Fuji, same fighting style and size. I agree. That's kind of where I was going with that. Like, Chiyono Fuji was such a beast. And I feel like Hoshoryu could be that. He's kind of there with his, his physique and everything else, but not quite. I'd like to see him develop into that guy. College throwback, Nippon Sports Science University versus Nihon University for the Onosato Takeru Fuji match. Ah, they were probably all doing a watch party. JJ says, well, there's wiggle room because Takeru Fuji and Onosato both have Yusho under their belt. They've got comparable records right now, and they're going to be rivals for the next 5 years minimum. Exactly. There's a lot that goes into this matchmaking, and like I said, it's sort of a personal touch. I think in particular, I don't know where you're from, John, but I'm just making a commentary on American sports in general. American sports have become so clinical. I was just talking about this the other night about baseball and the freaking square strike zone thing and the replays, and it takes a lot of the human element out of it. So sometimes sumo can feel a little unfair because there is the human element, the subjectiveness. But I would argue that it kind of makes things interesting. Sometimes in an unfair way, and sometimes in a way that's like, wow, I never expected we would get that matchup. Or I never expected that guy was going to get ranked up so high. Like, it gives some spice. In a sport that's full of tradition and doesn't change much, there's still this excitement because you don't know what the heck they're going to do. The Way of the Wolf, amazing documentary. Everyone should watch it. I watched one documentary about Chiyono Fuji, but I don't think it was that one. You guys are giving me so many things to watch in the sumo off season. Let me write that down. Put that down somewhere so I don't forget about it. I've got samurai movies to watch. I've got former wrestlers and movies to watch. And now I have a documentary to watch. Let's write this down. Whenever someone hankos or does cheap sumo to make a great match disappointing, they call it a dog act. Oh, interesting. I'm learning the colloquialisms. Interesting. I wonder what they consider cheap sumo. Like, there was a lot of flack on Hakuho for the forearms he was doing at the end of his career. I wonder if they considered that a dog act. Plus, as far as entertaining bouts are concerned, it's a big one. Onosato gets the... Oh boy, I can't read. Sumino Ichiban, just like the other Ozeki do. They tend to pair similar records against each other by this point. Yeah, and it's very similar, too, with like the Darwin matches. Those would be the 7-7 on the last day. Sometimes a lower ranker 7-7 is getting a way higher ranker because he's a 7-7. It's just sort of built into it. Because at the end of the day, even though sumo is a competitive sport, it's also entertainment. And really, they're all doing it for the fans. So anytime they can spice it up, they're going to do it. Enho fights the only 6-0 guy, so if Enho wins, he takes the Sandame Yusho. Wouldn't that be just a cherry on top of the sundae to have Enho win the Sandame Yusho? I'm calling it now. Cherry. Definitely cherry. Onosato has a lot of fans from the amateur sumo crowds. Okay. Yeah, I need to know, is there any Onosato fans in the chat? Because a lot of you don't like Onosato, it seems. It's not crazy that they were paired against each other. No, I don't think it was either, but I can see why it would feel crazy. If you're just looking at the numbers alone, Maegashira 16 and Ozeki. Juryo notables, Dayamame versus Awanishiki, Hidenomi versus Nabatame. Those are two good matches. Fuji Seiyun versus Tomokaze, Wakaikari versus Shimano Umi, Tamashoho versus Tochi Taikai, Sudagisho versus Hakuoho, Kageyaki versus Shiden. Yeah, those are some good matches right there. Nabatame, please get Kachikoshi. Yes, please get Kachikoshi. Because he's another guy that everybody is really rooting for. Amateur sumo guys love talking about Onosato, but don't seem to care for Shishi. I wonder why. It's probably because Shishi's form stinks. Sorry. I'm not hating on the guy, but his form is abysmal. It's hard to watch. And I say that as someone who is not very picky about people's sumo. It kind of drives me crazy to see how upright he is and to watch him get just tossed backwards because he can't. Maybe he can't bend down more. Maybe he's got knee problems already. But it's like, dude, this is not how you sumo. So I don't know. Kind of irks me a little bit. I would assume the amateur sumo guys would have a similar issue. I'm really enjoying Awanishiki. Had a bit of a slump mid-basho, but I hope he finishes strong. The nice thing about the last 3 days is just anybody's tournament could suddenly become something very different than how it started. It's all about the finish. That's all anybody's going to remember. My pet peeve is everyone looks like they're going to push out Kotozakura, and then Kotozakura just pulls them down. I just don't believe that's a defensive wrestler should be able to earn the Yokozuna rank. I get it being a pet peeve, but here's the thing. He is Ichinojo is a great example. Ichinojo used to do that. He almost won a Yusho that way. There's got to be something more to you to make it to Ozeki, to stay at Ozeki, to not be going Kadoban, to being very close to Yokozuna. There's more to him than it feels like. Some people's sumo is just not for you, and I understand it. But I would be hesitant to say he shouldn't be able to earn the Yokozuna rank. Things are set such that only the very talented get in there. There's been a few cases, such rare cases in history where somebody snuck in, but it is very rare. So if you've gotten to this point and you earn Yokozuna, you earned Yokozuna, period. Monster says, yes, I have to do the plug. Okay. The plug is now a part of the program. Maybe I'll even throw it in the recap. We'll just be in the middle and I'll be like, hold on a second, John. Please like and subscribe. I don't think I've ever seen a defensive Yokozuna, and I don't think there should be. People with history out there, let me know about defensive Yokozuna. I really don't have the history on that one. Yeah, Kakuryu was a defensive Yokozuna, but very different than Kotozakura. LMAO, wasn't Futabayama the guy with the most consecutive wins, a defensive Yokozuna? That wouldn't surprise me. I actually think defensive sumo probably racks up the most wins. Because you don't get hurt. If you just wait for the guy to attack you, and then you throw him down at the edge, you stay a lot healthier than the guy who is pounding away. Once they gave Terunofuji a terribly injured Kimbozan who had his head taped to his body, and Terunofuji steamrolled him on his way to a Yusho. It pays to have stablemates in the Joey. I'm pretty sure back then Issei Gahama was the head judge too, and the guy in charge of the Banzuke. I wonder who will be the next Onosho Takekeisho in terms of long rivalries from elementary school. I don't think Oho and Hoshoryu is at that level yet. Not till Oho gets better. I mean, he has gotten the better of Hoshoryu, but this tournament is showing us the real Oho again. And I got some flack for saying that I have a hard time believing in Oho because he's hurt me before. Can we count this tournament as Oho hurting me again? Can I? Okay? Every time Oho starts to look good, he has a tournament like this and stinks again. I think it's fair to say that Oho has hurt me. Maybe I'm wrong. The Juryo promotees all won and took a lot of suspense out of the race. Most of them are going to get promoted for sure now. That's okay. Sometimes you just need a tournament where you know what's going to happen next. And it's very good for the Banzuke. Perfect night for me. Awanishiki wins, Tamamashi wins, Kotozakura loses, and the evil nephew wins. Yeah, there's a part of me that's really wants Kotozakura to lose, but it's only because I want look at this. Taka no Show to win. I don't want it to be over. I want him to stay in it. Hoshoryu is only 25. Kotozakura is already 27. Yes, Hoshoryu has got the age thing going for him. A lot of the guys who are starting to come into their own do start to come into their own around 26, 27. So he's ahead of the game. Juryo demotions. Happy birthday, Kotozakura. I think yesterday was his birthday. I think you're right. Spanky, I couldn't agree more. So here's the Juryo demotions. Chiyomaru, Onosho, Koto Eho, Daishoho, and Tohakuryu. Oh, poor Tohakuryu. Tuesday was Kotozakura's birthday. So Kotozakura only turned 27 2 days ago. Still, I mean, it's close, but there is a big difference between 25 and 26. At least in my opinion. I could be totally wrong. It's completely subjective. The flaws of humanity are exciting. A story about people with no flaws would be boring. Exactly. Then they would be robots or androids or something. Juryo promotions. Is Waikaikari also possibly in the demotion range? I like his sumo. I can see him being a Wakataka Kage-like guy. The promotions are Kimbozan, Kito no Waka, Tamashoho, Kageyaki, Haku Oho, and Tsurugisho. It'll be good to see Haku Oho again. I really hope his body gets it together. I'm all about the unfairness. Take the hanka. If you don't want to have someone hanka you, don't let them. Kind of the same with the Banzuke. Wanted to get higher in the ranks, be liked more, dummy. Oh, it's such a controversial take, but I love it. You know, it depends on my mood, I guess. If I'm in a bad mood, I'm like, you know what? The hank is the worst thing ever, and you stink, and you got too many friends in the Banzuke, and they're letting you stay on a 6 and 9, and, you know, Magashira 16. And then if I'm in a good mood, I'm like, you know what? Hanka all you want. Yeah, who cares? 6 and 9. Just whatever. It's all good. So it's mood dependent for me. I could take any argument in this category. Makauchi demotions. Bushozan, Shishi, Asakoryu, Ryuden, Toki Hayate, Nishiki Fuji, and Sadano Umi. The only one I feel really, really bad for is Sadano Umi because it's like, maybe his time is coming. All these other guys will probably get another shot. Shishi, Bushozan, he's been up and down enough. Asakoryu, I really hope that he can turn it around. He does seem like he's an exciting guy. Little small, but I like his sumo. The best example of dog act I can think of is Shonan Umi's Henka of Takekeisho this year. Yeah, I was real salty about that. Not gonna lie. I almost forgot about it this time around. I wasn't hating on Shonan Umi, but you're bringing it back. You're bringing it back. The bad mood's coming in all of a sudden. That irked me. JJ loves Onosato. Great. Thank you, JJ. We need somebody who appreciates Onosato in this chat. Habab Gab says, I am neutral about Onosato, which is the worst place to be because I get hate from both sides. Yeah, you're not allowed to be neutral in this world. Pick side, man. I would say that I'm neutral about most people. Because John and I both kind of have this way about us where we're rooting for everyone to the best of our ability. You'd have to really wrong us in some way for us to be like, nah, I hope you lose. But then it gets to a place where we have our favorites, and so we're going to have to root against somebody. So most people I'm pretty neutral on. I just have the people that I like way more than others. Just to clarify, I always have to get closer. The Musubi no Ichiban is always given the highest rank on the Banzuke. If there are multiple at the rank, then they rotate each day. Yes. Good clarification for anyone who needs it. Yes, Mitch, since Koto is the highest ranked Ozeki, he will get the last match on day 15. Ooh, it's got to burn. It's got to burn Hoshoryu. You know he wants to be the highest ranked Ozeki. The Japanese women love them some Wakataka Kage. The smiles when he wins are amazing. Speaking of which, this is a good opportunity to go on a little side tangent because I love my side tangents. The Japanese are falling in love with Takekeisho all over again. It's amazing. So every time I see a clip of Takekeisho, I subscribe to that Japanese channel. And now I have tons of Japanese channels. I have no idea what anybody is saying. But I will go to the comments section and do a translation. And though I know the translation's not perfect, so many people in the Japanese commentary are saying, I didn't know you had such a great smile. I didn't know that you were so intelligent. You're so great. You're so nice. You look so great. They're all rediscovering Takekeisho in his post-retirement life. And they're loving the smile. So the Japanese are all about the smile. And Takekeisho does have a great smile. Gonna say that. And he's smiling so much. And they were showing clips of him like in the hallway and fans just like falling all over themselves to shake his hand. And he's just kind of like so unsure about this. Like, why? Why do you want to come talk to me? I'm wearing a track jacket now. And the fans there, he's going to be super, super popular in retirement. It's all about the smile. I also really want Shiden to get at least 9 wins and put himself in a good spot for promotion next time. Because it's not going to happen this time, right? Shiden can pull a Chirano Umi and make do well after making Makuuchi in his 30s. Yeah, there's always a chance. Like, if you have the longevity, you've had the years of doing the sumo toil, and you're healthy in your 30s, there's no reason you can't make a run in your 30s. Tamawashi won 2 titles in his 30s. And now the dude's 40. Tochinoshin in his 30s when he finally made his Ozeki run and won that Yusho. So yeah, late bloomers, always possible. Don't doubt the late bloomers. Tamashoho and Shiden are still in this game. That's right. Never give up. Hosho will be Yokozuna. I believe so too. I think it's only a matter of time. But he's got to keep going the way he's going in this tournament. We've been waiting a long time to see this version of Hoshoryu where everything clicks. No silly losses to people that he shouldn't be losing to. No, mental lapses. He's got to stay healthy. He's got to be very careful with the throws. Like throwing Onosato and Kotozakura in this tournament might be a bad idea. But at the same time, if that's what it takes to win, he's going to do it. But he could be such... As soon as he started coming up, I thought, this dude is Yokozuna material. That's how he ended up becoming my favorite. Like I said 2 days ago, Shishi needs to train with other stables to get through his current plateau. Completely agree. There are so many guys who get stuck in that rut because they need good training partners. Yeah, I really like Wakakari as well, Bob. It's funny Nishikigi's surge last year directly coincides with Wakakari joining the Heya. Hey, you get a good thing going in your Heya, and all of a sudden you get a resurgence. You see this with Takada Fuji all the time. When things are going real well with Teruno Fuji, he seems to like come out of the slump he's in. Now, of course, not so the case this time, but I've seen it happen many times. No, Onosato should get the final match day 15 since it would be his turn in the rotation. Kota would have the final match on days 1, 4, 7, 10, and 13. Okay. Well, we will see what happens. Whoa, I didn't notice that. Wakakari injecting some enthusiasm into the Isanomi Beya. Yeah, I mean, just think about it. Personalities matter. If this guy like really jives with him, or he's just really infectious and gets everybody in a good mood, all good things help your sumo. You're right, Mitch, my bad. Hypothetically, if the headless horseman competed in sumo, how much advantage would the lack of a head be? An extreme advantage, Monster. An extreme advantage. You'll always get flack for believing in Hoshoryu. I know, trust me. Yeah, we talked about this last night, Nikki. Hoshoryu is one of those guys that people love or love to hate. So, yeah, I've taken plenty of flack for Hoshoryu. I'll take it all day long. I don't care. Whatever. Say what you got to say. There's been people, he's not Yokozuna material. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, what have you been watching sumo for 5 minutes? Look, we're in a place where maybe no one is Yokozuna material. I don't know. The system will play itself out. But if anybody was Yokozuna material, Hoshoryu's got everything. He just has got to clean up the little things, which so far he's done. The crowd has really been pulling for Hoshoryu. You can hear them right before his matches start. Yeah, he's pretty popular. He's pretty popular in Japan. Well, with no head, I guess you couldn't lose by Kuminage. Certainly not. And you can't get your neck broken or your face busted. Yes, the evil nephew. Tamashoho is the word of the day. I know, I keep saying Tamashoho instead of Takanosho. It's killing my brain. Thanks, GR Sumo. I think Kitanumi was the youngest Ozeki, 21, then became Yokozuna. Onosato and Hoshoryu have age on their side, but so did Takekeisho. Yeah, but Takekeisho, as we find out through all of this stuff, he was injured all the way back in Makushita. Is that the one tournament he didn't win? So he basically had his entire career injured. And he also was not the right height for sumo. And he took a big risk by getting as heavy as he did because his body really couldn't support it. So if you really think about it, and this was said, Takekeisho was going to be a short timer no matter what. He wasn't built for it. The plan was to rise up the ranks as quickly as possible and then get to Yokozuna. And he came darn close. He really did. He had 3 opportunities and it didn't work out. But he made the best of a very short career. Many guys would not have been. And I really think it has all to do with his will. Like his willpower. Because there's guys that were stronger than Takekeisho. There's guys who were more skilled than Takekeisho. There were guys who had more experience than Takekeisho. Very few, though. He's been doing sumo since he was 8. Takekeisho just wanted it so bad that he just beat all the odds to do something that many people in his position would not have been able to do. So I wouldn't throw all young guys. I feel like Takekeisho is like a separate category. Most young guys have a huge career ahead of them. But then we could also look at Tamokaze and get completely depressed as well. Because he was a young guy when he got his injury that he is never going to recover from. Mitch says, I think it's time for the once a live stream pause in the chat to let Maria catch up. That'd be nice, but I'll just keep going. You guys keep me on my toes here. I remember all the times Midori Fuji tried to Henka Takekeisho, but he got red every time and blasted out. I enjoy those moments. Yeah, Kitano Umi and Taiho are the youngest. If I remember, Kitano Umi was a month younger than Taiho was. Takekeisho never made it to Yokozuna, but I think he was the 4th youngest to make it to Ozeki. So he still gets his young guy credit. Asakuryu did get pretty lucky to be in the top division in the first place. He looks like a skilled dude, but he is tiny. But he has been promising enough this Basho. Okay, Comfy Cat also loves Onosato. Excellent. Excellent. It's your job to be neutral. You are 100% correct, Monster. If I were to be a hater on any sumo wrestler, then it wouldn't be so fun to listen to this channel unless, like, you really indulged in hatred. So yes, it is kind of my job to be neutral, but it works out that I am just neutral in general. I want to like everyone until they give me a reason not to like them. Even people who are kind of on the sketchy side of things, like, I want to give them a chance. But if you do something to affect my rooting for you, then you're dead to me for life. That's just how it goes. Shonan Umi was close, but I'm giving him a break. Takekeisho's gone now. I'm giving him a break. All the sketchy stuff about Ryuden, it's affecting me. But that's aside. Asakuri was really cool. His little brother Ishizaki's good too. Already went 5-1 at Makushita 22 East, so we might be seeing some brother action in Juryo. Love it. Love when brothers come up. JJ says, absolutely not. Be biased. Fine, I will be biased for 5 seconds. Hoshiryu's the best and all the rest of you guys suck. Don't even try, man. Don't even try. Hoshiryu's taking this thing home. Okay, I'm over it now. That's what I want, but I'm over it now. A lot of brother teams going on. Yeah, we have Koto Tebakari. His name is changed now. And Koto Shoho. That will be very exciting when that happens. I am a proud, biased sumo commentator. And I love you for it, JJ. I have nothing against anyone who wants to be a biased sumo commentator. As I said, it's kind of hard for me because my nature is to root for everyone. That doesn't mean I don't like certain people way more. Like Hoshiryu, he gets everything. Takekeisho, we all know. You've been hanging around for a while, you know. You guys should have seen me back in the day when I watched baseball. Whew. I was fighting with people on the internet before the internet chat things were really even a thing. I'm like, don't you dare say bad things about my favorite baseball player. His brother Ishizaki, they're both Ishizaki. That must be their last name then. I'm okay with a little bias as long as it's against Tobizaru, that is. Mitch, you're free to have as much bias against Tobizaru as you like, but I like Tobizaru. He's a nut. Takekeisho post-retirement reminding me of the Defense Super Macho Man. Title Defense Super Macho Man. Hoshiryu has the best smile ever and the best frown, 2-in-1. He's such a character. I think that's part of why I like him also. I mean, what is there not to like? I mean, people hate the frown, I guess. But it's sumo. We can't all be like fluffy little bunnies here. Like, I need to see some tough guys. I need to see some scowls, some extra pushes. I mean, let's take this seriously. It's a violent sport. But I like the converse too. I like the smile. So I like that he has the sort of, you know, he's joking around during the summer tour and everybody's his friend, but then in the ring he like gives you that extra shove and he looks like he is going to destroy you, like he wants you dead. And then as soon as you hit the ground, he's like, oh, I'm sorry, let me help you up. It's fantastic. And I've heard lots of good stories about him visiting people in the hospital and telling jokes and actually being a very compassionate person. So like everything I hear about him just makes me like him more and more. Every time they show Takakeisho on the broadcast, he is shaking hands or taking pictures or signing things for people. I told you, like, all of a sudden, the Japanese have just rediscovered him. There's a couple of things. It's almost like seeing a unicorn because he is so young. He's 28 years old. He just turned 28 in August. They're not used to seeing this young guy hanging out in the hallways. It's like an enigma to them. That comes up all the time in the comments as well. And then to boot, he's like smiling and he's happy and, you know, he's losing all this weight. So he's going to start to look like a young man in sumo. And that is a unicorn, really. And I always thought that he was incredibly insightful, but not a lot of people paid attention because he'd only do a couple of interviews a year. He did just so very few. But of course, I was hanging on his every word. People are just now getting to see how insightful he is, how respectful he is, how much he cares about sumo, how humble he actually is. And they're just falling in love with him way more now than when he was an active wrestler. It's kind of cool. Hello, K-Bunny. Long time no see. Okay, let's see. Hoshoryu Wakamoto Haru. Abi is the best, happier sumo friend group I've ever seen. Yeah, like they all are chilling when it's, you know, summer tour or some sumo event. They're laughing and hitting each other and egging each other on, and then they get in the ring and it's like, yo, dude, I'm gonna kill you. Let's go, Hosh. Yep, we got a lot of Hoshoryu fans in here. Waka no Hana 2 was the oldest to make Ozeki. I think he was 32. Oh, that's cool. Now, was Waka no Hana 2 a student of Waka no Hana, or was he a relative of Waka no Hana? I miss when Shiden was Shiba. I miss when Haku Oho was Ochiai. K-Bunny Hoshoryu all the way to Yokozuna. I do love that there's so many Takakeisho fans in here, and then when he retired, there's so many Hoshoryu fans in here. It means that we're all kind of on the same page. That's pretty awesome. Daiseisan got lucky against Daishoho with the Mawashi Mata. Give us more. What happened? I did not see it. I missed the Tochinoshin Sky Crane. I do too. Every once in a while I'll watch old matches of Tochinoshins when I want to be cheered up. Because I loved the man. It was so sad when he retired. That was like my first heartbreak. Hoshoryu is trying to prove his uncle wrong this basho. Yeah, I think he's pretty salty about the fact that his uncle said the Mongolian dynasty is over. And his nephew is an Ozeki. I mean, you can't get more... That's pretty... I don't want to say any bad words. Let's just say that was wrong, okay? It was wrong. And Hoshoryu has every right to be angry about it. It's still a shame that it took so long for Shiden to make and stay in Juryo. Damn Hidenomi and his pachinko habits. Yeah, well, that's a whole other story. That's originally why I started to like Shiden. I just kind of felt bad for him. I could see that. Poor guy really had no chance. His uncle literally said that the Mongolian dominance was over when Hoshoryu was only 25 and already at Ozeki. Exactly, JR Sumo. You read my mind. I mean, I don't know what the guy's problem is. It must be very hard for him to be out of sumo. That's all I can say. Because I think he loves his nephew. I mean, I've seen videos of them training together and him talking to him. And just he loves in a different way. I know, Mitch, it made me so mad. Yeah, the scandals suck. But I do think he is the most interestingly boring wrestler. Like, he would be the default settings in Creator Rikishi. All his points into Yuri Kitty. How come there's no sumo video games? Are there some and I just don't know about it? Because that'd be pretty cool. I would totally buy them. Never mind, oldest to make Ozeki was Koto Mitsuki, almost 32. JR Sumo, his uncle with harshness for motivation. We all know how much of a hard ass he was. Yes, I think that is the plan. It's just, does he have to do it on Twitter? JR Sumo says, I feel like it's working. And JR Sumo, I agree. I mean, I think it's working too. Hoshoryu looks amazing. So I guess maybe Uncle will keep it up. His uncle said load up on Tsurugisho's pain meds to go in the Yusho when he was injured. Yeah, he's had many hot takes that haven't gone over so well with Hoshoryu. What kind of potion does Tsurugisho drink every morning during the Basho to fight with his knee that way? Well, he goes to Tamawashi. Tamawashi is actually has the Fountain of Youth in the back of his stable, so everybody goes to him. So that's all Hoshoryu has to do, is go to Tamawashi, but he's got too much pride for that. Watching his uncle slap around young Hakuho at practice was crazy. You know, there's just a little bit of me that's like, takes pleasure in that, since, you know, Hakuho kicked the crap out of Takekeisho, and that was the most painful thing I've ever watched. Ugh. So, kind of, a little bit of, yeah, I'm glad somebody slapped you around. Although, maybe you wouldn't have done it to Takekeisho if Asashoryu never existed, so maybe I take that back. Ryuden has had a pretty uneventful late career, was a yo-yo Rikishi for a while, and now that he's 34, he's just fading out. Not much to say positive or negative, no matter how you feel about him. Yeah, at some point you're just like, Ryuden, okay. You know, it's neutral and a more, like, I don't care way versus neutral, like, yeah, he's cool. It's more like, whatever. Do your thing, you're going to Juryo. Koto Tebakari is now Koto Eho. Oh, that's right. This whole thing. Mitch. Where the hell did all the Tsurugisho haters come from in the last popularity poll, though? I don't know. Maybe they had to go out and recruit some haters so that they could influence the poll. Hoshoryu throws him today. I think he's going to throw him too. He just better not hurt himself. On my channel, we all hate Hokuseiho. His sumo sucked worse than Shishi's, and Shonan Umi sumo combined, and Hokuseiho also ruined Hakuoho's life by traumatizing him, losing his stable. That certainly didn't help Hakuoho's situation. I mean, he just got the surgery, was recovering, loses his stable. His stable master's no longer the guy. The whole thing, yeah. I think we can blame everything on Hokuseiho. Even Mitakeumi getting injured the other day, it's because Hokuseiho existed. There you go. There's somebody that I don't mind not being neutral on. I really don't like the guy. And now Oshoma, after today, he's got to watch his back, because I did not like the game he was playing. There was something about that. It was like, yeah, you are a bully, aren't you? I can see it. And I hope people slam you to the ground and knock that cockiness right out of you. The old guard was taking their time going away, but now with Myogiru and Aoyama gone and Sanano-Umi and Ryuden looking the way they will get demoted, the youth movement is stepping up. Yeah, we're about to actually see the new generation take hold of the sport. And it's going to have a very different feel. And in some ways, that's a really good thing. And in some ways, there will be things we miss about the old way. Interestingly enough, Takekeisho has spoken many times about wanting to raise up his newest wrestlers in the Showa way. Showa? What was the previous period? Somebody remind me. He wants to raise them in the era that he grew up in, which was that old way. So we'll see if Takekeisho infuses any new wrestlers with the old way. With Ryuden, the dislike isn't on the dojo stuff. It's the off. Exactly. It's the off the dojo stuff. It's kind of hard to ignore. I just try not to think about it because I don't know him personally. But it sounds like everything was verified, so it makes it hard. Makes it hard to look at him the same way. Social media is built for arguing. It's hard not to respond sometimes, but I try, but constantly failing to not engage with hateful people. Yeah, I actually ditched all my social media because I don't want to not like people. And I think social media is bred to bring out the worst in you, quite frankly, because even if you're showing the best side of you, a lot of times it's inauthentic. It's like, wow, I'm having a good hair day today, so let me post a picture. But even that seems so fake. So I'd rather build my relationships with people in real life and just not know them on social media at all. Because I don't want to be judging them for their worst moments. I don't know why they might say or do something I don't like, you know. And if you don't know me personally, you shouldn't be able to get a hold of me. That's another thing, or know anything about my life. The exception is this 42 Opinion Sumo channel. It's really my only social media. Got to protect yourselves, people. Hate is not worth it. Ah, yes, GR Sumo. We don't speak that evil name here. Good point. Thou who shall not be named. Hoshoryu jokes with the Shinpan. Hoshoryu's got to be like a really funny guy. Dodgers. Are you referring to the fact that they won the World Series? On tour. Yes, on tour. It might be on the dohyo stuff too. He was big on international mata for a long time. Or intentional mata. See, I can't read. All of a sudden, I just cannot read after 10 o'clock. He was big on intentional mata for a long time, and some people hated the hip wiggle. The hip wiggle was so weird. I really didn't like it. I'm like, will you stop doing that? It didn't make me hate him, but it kind of skeeved me out. Hoshoryu visited Hokuto Fuji and Asanoyama in the hospital and gave them a get well soon card. See? Look at that, man. There's a lot of quality in this man. On the ring, off the ring. There's just a lot to like about Hoshoryu. Hosh and Daisho definitely seem like the guys with the best vibes off the dohyo. Oh, yeah. You know, like I said, Daisho and Takikeisho's friendship is legendary. Daisho loves a good joke, loves a good time as well. I mean, some of these guys are real cool. I started following this one Japanese channel where they go to all the tours and they just record the wrestlers in the hallway. I will post one in the community tab. It's so amazing because you get the best insight to their personalities when they're not fighting. And Hokuto Fuji is kind of serious, even like outside of the ring. Whereas all the other guys are like hitting each other and, you know, laughing and pointing and all this like silly stuff. And there's Hokuto Fuji just very serious standing in the corner. But then, you know, people come over and talk to him, so it's not like he's antisocial or something. It's just he maintains a serious vibe a lot of times. But that was like Ryuden's gimmick, so it had the opposite effect on me. Dropping the mata and hip wiggle is why Ryuden is dead to me now. Well, there you go. You can't please everybody. Some of us are happy to get rid of the hip wiggle, and meanwhile, it made you turn on him. Also, people think Ryuden intentionally did the 10-5, 5-10 yo-yo because there was financial incentives for double-digit wins. Huh. You know, I never thought about that sort of thinking, but I suppose that does happen with some wrestlers. Interesting. I think it's probably just people making up narratives to be a hater, Bob. Also possible. My thoughts on Ryuden are the same for a lot of guys. I cheer for them when I don't like their opponent, and I cheer against them when he goes against one of my guys. I think that's pretty much how I am. Like, I never want to root against somebody unless there's a reason. So, like, if Ryuden's just, you know, if Ryuden's just fighting whoever, I could be neutral on the match. If he's fighting somebody I care about, well, you're going down. You know, I don't know the guy personally. I don't know any of these people personally, so it's hard to, like, judge them on their personal stuff. Daishoho was winning the match, but then a Mawashi Mata was called, which halted the momentum. Oh, I hate that. Daiseisan won after they restarted. What? Yeah, that's a momentum killer for sure. Awanishiki, I like that guy. He's going to do a lot better than Shishi. Absolutely he is. You can already tell. Way better form. I think Takikeisho fans are switching to Hoshoryu because of the similarity in their underdogness. Both guys whose builds weren't great for sumo, Takikeisho's height and Hoshoryu's weight. And I think another factor is that their will to, like, their love of sumo and their will to fight and win is very infectious. That is a huge similarity between the two. You just feel it, like they want to win every match. They're going to find a way, even if they get a horrible loss the day before, they're coming back out there determined to win because sumo is everything to them. And when you see somebody who's so passionate about something, it makes you care about it too. Maybe not in the same way that they care about it, but now like you care about them because they care about sumo. So that's another factor too, I think. I think we are missing the most important part of Asashoryu's end of Mongolian dominance claim. Tamawashi probably won't win any more Yushos. Well, I think you had the trifecta of Hakuho, Hadamafuji, and Kakuryu at one time, basically running like a little tribe there. And Asashoryu could have been a part of it, but he had to do all his stuff and get kicked out, and then Hadamafuji had to get kicked out, and maybe that's what ended the Mongolian dominance. I'm just saying. The first Wakanohana Yokozuna was the uncle of Yokozuna Takanohana and Wakanohana. Their father was the great Ozeki Takanohana. Yeah, that whole thing is tough to keep track of because that was a family dynasty. So I have trouble remembering. There are Japan-only sumo video games, but they are old. It doesn't seem like sumo games ever really caught on. Yeah, unfortunately, the youth in Japan doesn't like sumo like we like sumo. And that is a shame because you could have some seriously fun sumo fighting games. You could do customizations. It could be like the old, oh God, I can't think of it, Street Fighter game, but sumo. I mean, they could have some fun, but the Japanese wouldn't buy it, so I guess they're not going to make it. Once again, to reiterate how crazy Asashoryu was and is, there was a Mongolian documentary where he bit the head off of a turtle and made his Suki to drink its blood. He's probably mellowed out some. Yeah, I heard about that. I don't even want to talk about that. It's pretty gross. Pretty freaking gross. I'm pretty sure Tamawashi's secret has something to do with cookies. Homemade, of course. Well, he is the baker of cookies. Asashoryu recruiting Japanese basketball players to make a team in Mongolia. The Mongolians love thief basketball. Remember that Kakuryu video where he is shooting 3-pointers? I forgot about that. I gotta find that again. Looks like Sandame is about to begin. About 22-ish odd matches until the Enho match. Okay, yeah, we're definitely not in... The Enho match happened while we were talking last night and it was about this time. So, boy, there's a wild range in how the schedule goes there. I don't like Hokuseiho, but I also don't like how Hakuho left him unattended as the guy in charge when he wasn't at the stable. Not blaming Hakuho, but I wouldn't shoot fire at guys if I saw Hakuho. I'll say that I was disappointed in Hakuho no matter how you slice it. It did take a little bit of... my opinion of him did go down slightly because of the whole thing. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Also, there's a clip of Stephen Curry and Hakuho. Yeah, I think I saw that one too. And Hakuho, man, he looked like he was in great shape. Even though he was heavy, like, he wasn't heavy like the other guys were heavy. And he was just having a good old time. I appreciate your honesty on the live streams. That's what they're there for. You can get all my off-the-cuff thoughts. And this is, it'll either make you like me more, or in some cases, I've upset many a people on the live stream. There are people who are no longer listeners of the channel because of my honesty. So, you take it with a grain of salt. I prefer to be authentic. International Mata. This is how far behind I am in the comments. Like, I made that a whole long time ago, and I'm just looking at you making fun of me about it. Definitely social media has destroyed real human experiences. It's great for talking to people internationally. Humans need face-to-face experiences to grow. It's like anything in life. A little bit is great. Too much is bad. So I like the idea of, like, I couldn't talk to any of you if I wasn't doing this channel. And then who would I talk to about sumo? Because there are no sumo fans where I live except for John. And maybe a few people that John has recruited. I have recruited no one. So there's the positive side, right? Making these connections. But if you spend all of your time with people who you can't actually see, then, things get a little weird. So that's all I'm saying. I think you need a little bit of both. Actually, a little bit of social media and a lot more of, go outside and hang out with the trees. Meet your friends. Talk to them in person. By God, Ryuden is charging at President Trump. He didn't put his fist down yet. Ryuden, what are you doing? Oh, my goodness. Don't worry, Asashuri will protect Trump. Oh, goodness. Could you imagine Asashuri getting on a Twitter thing with Trump? That would be hilarious. Dodgers, because you were talking about your baseball love-hate days, and I'm a Dodgers fan forever. What's so funny about that, Spanky, is I was a huge New York Yankees fan. Now, I can't say that I'm not a New York Yankees fan anymore, but at the same time, I haven't watched baseball since 2008, I believe. No, 2005. There are lots of reasons for that. I still love baseball. I still go to amateur games because I love the sport of baseball so incredibly much. But things just, I don't know. Things went sad for me in baseball in about 2005. So, I did watch this World Series where the Dodgers beat the Yankees. So, you got some bragging rights there. Though I knew none of the players. So, I can't get too behind it. But I think once a fan, always a fan to some degree. But I mean, I used to be an obsessed fan of the New York Yankees. Koto Sakura has more personality than he is given credit for. Once he and Ichi were messing around and he told Ichi Wakataka Kage will be jealous. Then Ichi said to the camera, don't use this footage. Yeah, actually, I've seen Koto Sakura doing some silly things in the tour videos. You guys have got to go to the community tab. I share lots of good videos there. You need to watch them. Speaking of Trump, when are the next JSA elections? We need the Hakuho haters out and the Takekeisho to be the Shimpan. I think Mitch said 2026. Boy, that's going to be a whole wild freaking ride when Hakuho starts trying to get power and Takekeisho's all in there. Oh my goodness. I'm very excited about this. Daniel Hazarig, what are you doing, nephew? How can you become Yokozuna if you can't protect the president? Oh, goodness. I'm almost caught up, guys. I'm very close, but then you drop 10 more comments and then I lose that. My number one sumo wish right now is that Trump comes back to hand out another Yusho for his second term. That was a pretty cool thing, but I had to be very sad about what happened to Shinzo Abe. I mean, I was heartbroken for a very long time. That was messed up. And so now that whole thing is just, I don't know. I used to like to watch it because it was kind of cool because Asanoyama was like the hope. But now, knowing that Shinzo Abe got murdered, I'm getting down. Let's talk about positive things. I think Hoshoryu does the most practice bouts. Yes, that is what I hear. I don't know if Hoshoryu had rubbed off on his Oyakata or vice versa, but on Twitter there were videos of Tatsunami Oyakata creeping up and spooking his wrestlers. Oh, that's funny. As much as I dislike Trump, I really wish the sumo trophy stuck around. I was hoping too. I think it's kind of lame that all these countries have something for sumo and America doesn't. I think America needs to get behind sumo. Not enough people know about it or like it, and that annoys me because we need to be giving out something. I mean, geez, France gives out the giant macaroon. And that was pretty cool. I'm going to say that was a cool moment. America having a trophy for sumo. I wished so hard that Takekeisho had won it, but oh well. Takanohana was very Hoshoryu-like in his weight. Skinny guy who put his whole heart in every fight. He wasn't as throw-happy as Hoshoryu. Hoshoryu is quite throw-happy. It's amazing. Trump comes back to hand out another Yusho. Watch the Tobi Zaruzen show. Be some wild stuff. I don't think Trump's coming back now that Shinzo Abe is no longer with us, though. I mean, they were buddies. They were very close. Quackadoo says, oh yeah. We have to remember that great athletes don't always make good coaches. Oftentimes they make crappy coaches. Yeah, and that's the thing is I wanted to hope that Hakuho was going to be an amazing coach, but I'm in the category now where I think unless he lets go of his ego and tries really hard to turn the ship around, he might not be the best coach. Awesome sumo mind, but he's got to want to and know how to instill that in his wrestlers. So we'll see. We'll see. I haven't given up on him yet, but had a moment of sadness over it. The K-Show likes Egg McMuffins. Does he? Is that like in the... I didn't watch the whole commentary yet. I only got through half of it. Yep, Mega Monster Wajima was a great Yokozuna, but the consensus was he was a terrible coach. I think Taki Keisho is going to be an excellent coach. Mitch, from what I read, it's still a given, just only in May. Okay, I don't know what that's about. Hakuho coached Enho and Ishiura and such, so he's not the worst coach. Well, yeah, they were great fighters, but they also both are seriously injured, so I don't know if that actually proves anything to me. Like, Ishiura had to leave from a neck injury, and Enho has a neck injury and is still fighting, but probably has been told many times not to fight. And I watched Hakuho kick the crap out of them in an alley one day. So I don't know if that's good coaching. I don't know. I'm not going to say... Look, I like tough guys, and I like tough love, and all that stuff, so I'm not going against it, but I do think there can be a line that maybe now it's not working. Believe me, if that happens, I won't even try to censor my thoughts. Whether he's a particularly strong coach remains to be seen. I think Hakuho has learned a valuable lesson from all the reports. It will make him a better stable leader in the future. Yeah, here's the thing, right? Our mistakes can teach us more than our successes. So I think Hakuho has learned a lot from this, and I think he can become a way better coach than he was. I really do. But he has to want it. He has to put his ego aside. He has to critically look at his decisions that he made and move forward. I mean, no point in hanging out in the past. Both Enho and Ishiro were successful Sekitori long before he became coach, though. And that's another fact. It was a nice-looking trophy. I wonder what happened to it. Like, all these other trophies, I think they go back in the case and they come back out. Did Asanoyama just get to take that one home? Or is it sitting in a case somewhere? I would love to know what happened to the trophy. But we all know Hakuho was essentially coaching them even back then. They were known as his students more than the Oyakatas. Agreed. 100% agree on that. Oh my goodness. Every time I think I've caught up, there's more comments. Okay. I mentioned this before, but Masashi Maru says that being a stable master is harder than being a Yokozuna. He said that as Yokozuna, he could focus on himself. As a stable master, he has to focus on everyone. Of course. It's like being a parent. You know what I mean? Like, it's so easy to, like, train yourself to be the way you want to be, but try to teach your kids that. Yeah, it doesn't go so smoothly. And he also doesn't know how to get people who don't listen to listen. That's the hardest lesson in the world. How do you make a person listen to you? I don't know. I also used to be a huge baseball fan, but all the showboating and attitude and drama turned me off. That's why I like sumo. Composure incarnate and the emotional moments mean a lot more. Yeah, I do need, like, my American sports are just become very, just more entertainment than sport. I do like that sumo is just chill. Here's our standards. Things go wrong. We know. Scandals, problems. It's not perfect. But for the most part, it's pretty straightforward. Two guys come in, clash heads. They're friends at the end of it. There's no promoting oneself. There's no extravagant speeches. There's no... I can't even read the advertisements. That helps, you know. So I prefer sumo these days. Tokushoryu and Shodai crying after winning their Yushos hit me right in the feels and the way baseball never did. That's another thing. Man. Ugh. Because the guys are so emotionless in the ring, when they win and they just let their hearts out, it touches you. Takakesho cried when he made Ozeki and when he beat Terunofuji, and I was a mess. Oh my goodness, I was a mess. We should give out a giant hamburger. Yes. Giant hamburger with a cowboy hat. Yes. For a bunch of reasons. First of all, like, America is known for the hamburger for some reason, and Japan loves it. Japan would go nuts if we gave a giant hamburger. That would be so cool. I was just about to say that. Trump for the 15-0 U show in January. I think he'd have to wait till March if that were to happen. And like I said, I don't think he's coming back with Shinzo Abe gone, unfortunately. Oh, so sad. I like Shinzo Abe. If we're going to go there, the actual worst coach would be someone we've never heard of because that stable has no Sekitori. Good point. Trump versus Asashoryu playoff in January. Mark my words. That doesn't even have to happen in Japan. Like, that could be just an exhibition somewhere. Asashoryu would totally sign on to do that. Asashoryu was just dying to do something wild. Trump hands Hoshoryu a giant burger in January with his Enshoyu show. I really want the giant burger to be a thing. I really, really do. I'm all in on this now. Okay, this is going to be hard to read. Shikihide stable, by far the worst stable in sumo talent-wise. Yeah, I don't even know about it. If you were there for the Tokushoryu Basho, you knew you were watching a one-of-a-kind event. Absolutely. Like, if you were ever to show somebody sumo, you'd want to show them that. And unfortunately, I believe that's the one Takakeisho was on the bad end of. So even in Takakeisho's losses, he's been a part of historical events. To be clear, the USA President Cup is still given, just only in May. Really? Really? This is something I didn't know. I'm going to have to pay attention in May. I didn't know that. Because they don't show the trophies anymore. I'm going to have to find a live stream to watch the trophies. That was such a special day. Who knew back then that Asanoyama was going to have a complete collapse? That seemed like the day that was going to be the rest of his career, and just nope. Now I'm getting sad again for poor Asanoyama. Fingers and toes crossed for Hoshoryu versus Onosato. I hope everyone has a wonderful day tomorrow. I have to sign off. Good night, everyone. Thank you, 42, and everyone in the chat. Thank you, Army. We actually are going even longer than usual tonight, so awesome. Thank you for coming. I hope you have a good night. I hope Hoshoryu wins for all. America is known for the hamburger because hamburgers are the greatest food in existence. Also, fast food is associated with America, and a hamburger is the face of fast food. I have to say, I do love hamburgers. They are great. There was a video I saw the other day where some MMA guys challenged Asashoryu to a sumo match and got absolutely bodied. Where's this video, man? I gotta see it. Asashoryu in fantastic shape for being 40. Man. You know, I got this thing about Asashoryu. Like, on one hand, he makes me so angry, but on the other hand, he's kind of funny. And I like these stories about him, like, picking fights with everybody. That's what I'm saying. Trump could come back in May. You never know. You never know. If they're still giving that cup out, then maybe. That Trump Cup moment was what got Leo Dixon into sumo. Interesting. Very interesting. I don't know in the history of sumo if America has ever actually been a part of the trophy ceremony. I know Paul McCartney, but he was British, so that doesn't work. I don't know if there's ever been an American to get involved in sumo like that. That might be the only moment in sumo history. So definitely a big moment if you're American because you got like a second to be a part of it. I think Habab Gab is referring to Asashoryu versus Bob Sapp. I want to see this video. I'm going to have to start searching for that next. Good business idea would be actual American restaurant in Japan and then invite the Yusho winner and give him a hamburger. Okay, so who's going to go there and do that? Is anybody a good cook? What was funny was when Trump was reading the Yusho certificate and the crowd just started oohing and awing. The whole thing was such a spectacle. Like, even the moment that he came down and they had him, like, in the middle. I think there was some other plan of where he was going to sit, but then they had to move it to there. And the whole thing was wild. The Asashoryu video was on the Sumo subreddit a couple weeks ago. Ugh, so I'm going to have to go to Reddit, huh? Not Bob Sapp. It was a Japanese MMA guy. I just checked a live stream. Onosato received the Trump Cup in May with his Yusho. Wow. That happened like years ago, and I didn't realize that that cup still even was out there and existed. Crazy. I feel like I learned something new every day. And I finally caught up to the chat. This is kind of amazing. I feel like it's been a marathon. You guys really gave me a lot of comments to read this time around, which was excellent and awesome. So, I'm going to give my little spiel before I sign off for the night. This is our last live stream for this Kyushu Basho. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun the last 3 days. John should be on the Sunday morning sumo show tonight, tomorrow, however you want to look at it. It's 2 o'clock in the morning for me. I will not be on. I have events that I have to go to for the next couple of days, and I just can't sacrifice the sleep, unfortunately. I should be back on in January if the guys will still let me come on. But anyway, that's a side note. If you want to check out Sunday Morning Sumo Show, it's a second channel, so it's like Sunday Morning Part 2 or something like that. Just look around. You'll find it. John and JJ, going to be fun. I will get to Guess the Banzuke in a second because we have to talk about the recap show. So the recap show is going to be recorded the Monday after the tournament ends. So it will probably premiere the Tuesday. So Tuesday, look for the recap show. John and Maria reunite for the first time in a while because John was having back trouble and he seems to be good now. And prepare for a recap show that's probably 3 hours long. I'm expecting it. Fully expecting the full Lord of the Rings, Return of the King recap show. Hopefully I'm talking about a Hoshoryu victory or some miracle Takanosho victory. Even a Kotozakura victory, even though I'm not necessarily rooting for that. That puts the guy on a Yokozuna run. So no matter how you look at it, yes, there's so much to talk about. It might even become a 4-hour commentary for all I know. So you got the recap show coming on. Kaliwali, unfortunately, I'm about to go. But you're going to get a few minutes of me talking because I got to go through the whole thing. The whole spiel. So, Guess the Banzuke live stream. It's always the Tuesday before the Banzuke is due, which is 2 weeks before the Banzuke comes out. So you can go on to Grand Sumo's website and it tells you the Banzuke schedule, and just go back 2 Tuesdays before and that's the day. I'm going to read these comments real quick before I go. Hooray for catching up. Yes, hooray. And then you guys just immediately put me right back down. Clap, clap, clap. Guess the Banzuke live Tuesday before the Monday it's due. Quackadoo says Hoshoryu victory. That's what I'm rooting for. Unless there's a bunk call involved like with Asanoyama. Yeah, let's hope there's no controversial end. This tournament's been way too good. I don't want to deal with that. So just put that on the list of desires. Hoshoryu Yusho, Enho Yusho, yes, let's root for an Enho Yusho tonight. So much to talk about, a lot to say about everyone. Kaliwali, I'm sorry that you just made it and I'm about to end, but please feel free to go back to the end because this has been an hour and 45 minutes of talking, so there's plenty to listen to. Let's go Hosh, win this shit. Let's work on spreading the name of 42 Opinions. Hopefully you and John can guest on one of the big 3 sumo podcasts. You never know. I don't think anybody knows we exist, quite frankly. We are kicked out of the algorithm. No one besides Sunday Morning Sumo Show has ever contacted us, so we're just sort of like there. We're like I don't know. We're like the cool kids because no one knows about us. Yes, the wrap-up is going to be awesome, unless if Kotozakura wins. Good night, all. Fun as always. But Hoshoryu will win. Don't worry, I always listen to you on my way to work. Looking forward to it. Awesome. Thank you so much for listening to us. Best long content. Hey, that's what we strive for. Everybody does the short thing, so we do the long thing, you know? We just like to talk. Good night, all. Too early for Christmas music still, but the perfect time for Sumo. Happy early Thanksgiving, Maria. Thank you, and yes, happy Thanksgiving to all the Americans who will be celebrating next week, and just happy holidays to everyone, because I won't see you guys till January, so anybody celebrating Christmas. I think Canadian Thanksgiving is around, too. So Christmas, Thanksgiving, any holidays in your country, best of holiday seasons for all of you. You will hear the recap, but it won't be live like this. But I type in the comment section, so you can still talk to me. You just can't. I won't verbally talk to you. I will be typing to you. Thank you, as always, Hoshoryu, for the U Show. Keep hope alive. Spreading your name in Leo's server. I mean, we are awesome, but, you know, because we love y'all. Get in the Kokugikan women's bathroom with the SMSS crowd. Yes. You guys know JJ is awesome. You know John is awesome. I don't think Goose is going to be there, but Goose is awesome. You got to check out the Sunday morning Sumo show, part 2, because it's going to be a good time. If you had more people, you'd never finish with the comments. Good point, Mega Monster. Maybe we don't want to grow too much. I don't know. Good night. 'Tis my bedtime. Good night, Mitch. It was my bedtime like an hour ago, but whatever. I give my time to you guys. Hosh, 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 hosh. I apparently am the only one that liked. Even with my multiple plugs, only one person liked the video. I'll do one last plug. Hi, everyone. Thanks for listening to our channel. If you like this content, please like or subscribe. It helps us get into the algorithm. Thank you. All right, I'm done with that. We're done with that. Canadian Thanksgiving was last month. Okay, well, happy late Thanksgiving. Go like. Forgot about that. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone in the chat. Hopefully Takakeisho gets a top spot in the popularity poll. The results will be revealed in a couple weeks. Ooh, we'll talk about that in the Guess the Bonzuke. Good night, Mega Monster. Go Hoshoryu and Roll Tide Alabama football. Yeah. I'm not a college football person, but hey, if you like him, I like him. Monster voted for Tobizaru, which is excellent. I hope Mitch feels a sting from that. Every time I go to Goose's show, they get caught. I'm bad luck, but sometimes I watch it in the day after. Everyone comment in the video, too. That helps with the algorithm. Yes, that is the secret to the algorithm. The more comments, the more you get suggested. And since there are so many of you, all you have to do is say comment or put a picture or say make a joke or put a t-shirt idea down. If every single one of you put a comment, then we would get thrown out to the algorithm. And I do not know the reason they haven't released the poll. I thought it would be out by now, but the slacking. Good night. I'll get my 3 hours of sleep before waking up to watch Sunday morning Sumo show. Awesome. Kiribayama for least favorite. Not going to happen, Bob Gob, but thanks for trying. I don't think he's disliked by many. I could be wrong, though. It'll be an interesting poll. So, as always, guys, thank you so much for coming. It was a blast the last 3 days. I look forward to the next time we can talk again. How do you put a picture in the comments? I don't know if you guys can or not. I know I can. So just type something out if you want me to see a picture. Like, type out something to search or whatever. I don't know if I'm watching Top Division, but looking forward to Jurio tonight at least. The only problem with the poll is that this is the best Basho by far this year, and the poll was up. That was lame. Why do you put the poll up before the end of the Sumo year? Come on. Ridiculous. And Monster says good. Yeah, good. I don't know to what, but good. All right, guys. It's been fun. I'll catch you in the comment section, typing only, in the recap in just a couple of days. Happy Sumo. Have fun. And all that jazz.